Welcome to the sixth module of the Writing for New Media online course. Today we're going to discuss all about blogging. For today's lecture, we're going to look at what is a blog and why people blog. We're also going to look at some rules and ethical standards that we need to consider when we are about to start our own blog. And we're also going to look at two distinct types of blogs. These are the niche blogs and the corporate or business blogs. And after that, we're also going to look at not just the blogs that focus on written word, but also those that touch on audio and video. And these are your podcasts and vlogs. And last, we're also going to look at how you need to develop a blog marketing plan in order to get the word out there. So let's just take a look at the situation of the so-called blogosphere, or the entire world or universe of blogs online. About 1/3 of all websites are blogs. Specifically, that's about 500 million blogs out of 1.7 billion websites in the world. In these blogs, more than 2 million posts go live every day on average. 77% of internet users read blogs regularly. So you can see how much potential blogs have in the online world. But despite that abundance of blogs out there, only about 1 in 3 bloggers are able to monetize their online activity. About 10% are only able to make around over $10,000 a year. So that means a lot of bloggers still need to learn about the strategies of marketing and monetizing their online activity. Now let's look at what exactly is a blog. So it's basically a fusion of the words web and log. So in the early days, it was just dubbed as weblogs. But now it shortened, as we always do, into the term blog, and it quickly grew to be the preferred term. So blogs basically started off as just online diaries. It had entries listed in reverse chronological order. And then as blogs started to grow in popularity, more individuals, more groups, and even businesses started to join the blogosphere. So blogs are unique in the sense that they provide a two-way conversation between the author and the visitors, because not unlike typical websites, they're just there for you to browse and get information. But the difference with blogs is you are able to comment, you are able to react, you are able to share. So there's that sense of community, there's that sense of interactivity, as we've discussed in the previous modules, the characteristics of new media platforms nowadays. So blogs are considered one of the first methods of bringing user-generated content to the mainstream. As you see, when you do blogs, it's basically generated by you as the one who creates blogs. Now, today's blogs can have many different forms, but the following elements are usually seen in a traditional model of a blog. So the first is, of course, the written aspect of it, and these are your posts. So a blog is basically a website that consists of entries, and these entries are what you call posts. So these posts appear in usually reverse chronological order. So meaning the most recent posts are on the top of the page, and so on. Now the next feature is the commenting feature. So this one allows the readers to publish their own comments on each post that they read. So this allows for interactivity, for discussions, and also building relationship opportunities with your readers. And then you have links. Now these links allow readers to find more information either within the blog or on other blogs or websites. So links basically provide another interactive tool aside from your commenting feature. And it allows the blogger to build relationships with other bloggers and website owners because they are able to send traffic to these other sites. So we'll take a look at that in the later sections. And last element is the archives. So archives uh, are basically a page in your blog that includes all posts published on that blog since the beginning, and it allows users or readers to find your posts more easily. So usually may mga categories pa yan para mas madali mong ma-narrow down yung hinahanap mo, etc. Or it can even be categorized by year, by month, etc. Now, these are just some traditional elements. Other blogs now even include other elements. So, the uniqueness of every blog comes from the voices of the writers. So, when creators use the blogging application, the functionality, the tools of the blog, it can help you stand out from the rest of the other blogs. But nonetheless, your creativity as a blogger will basically come from why you want to blog in the first place. Blogs have evolved to come in several forms. So each post can now have not just written entries, but even photo blogs or photo entries, even video entries, also known as vlogs, or even audio recording entries that are now called podcasts. So these entries can be unique to each other, or they can be a mix of one of the other. So pwedeng one post can be a combination of written entry, a photo entry, or another post can be a combination of a podcast and a written entry, and so on and so forth. There are many types of blogs, and I listed here some of the common ones. So, of course, you have the personal ones. So, these are written by individuals about topics of personal nature, such as their likes and dislikes, their hobbies, their opinions, and so on. And then you also have business blogs. So, these blogs are written for business or to grow a business. Basically, it lets the business owners connect with their consumers, the network of other businessmen, etc. Now, you also have corporate blogs. So, this is different from the business blogs because businesses are the smaller ones, whereas corporations are, of course, the bigger uh, entities. So, these corporate blogs are usually the business blogs that are owned by larger entities. And then you have non-profit blogs. So, non-profit organizations use blogs as well so that they are able to share the information about their causes, and also for them to gain support and even solicit donations. Blogs can also be about news and information. So these kinds of blogs share these information, news, current events about topics such as maybe popular culture, entertainment, sports, and so on. Then you can also have these expert blogs. So it's written by people who are experts in their own fields. So they use blogs to share their knowledge through those posts in their websites. And you also have entertainment and fan blogs. So these blogs are written by individuals or organizations. They write about celebrities, sports, music, and so on, all those entertainment related topics. And last but not least, you also have the niche blogs. So these are written about very specific topics on the choosing of the blogger. Now, you've seen the entire universe of blogs, but the question now is, why do people blog? Uh, Basically, there are just four reasons. The first one is for fun, basically. Millions of blogs are written by people who just have a few goals other than really to have fun. So it can either be for them to connect with family and friends, or they use the blogosphere so that they are able to have a place for them to share their opinions simply because they love to write, or they love to produce video, or they love to produce audio. So those things. Interestingly, people who write for fun are popular. They become famous because of their blogs. So they become the so-called web stars or influencers, etc. So examples from the earlier blogs would probably be like perezhilton.com or the Wine Library TV, etc. Now, another reason why people blog is to network. So, they decide to blog simply to meet other people with similar interests. So, this kind of networking can be either for personal or professional reasons. So, if you're someone who blogs for network, you can define your success by the kind of community that you are able to develop around your blog. So, you can say that you have a community when there is already a lot of comments, a lot of links, and even emails that are connected to your blog. So examples of this are womenonbusiness.com. So these are basically for women entrepreneurs. And another is theleakycauldron.org. So it's really just for Harry Potter fans. And you also have macrumors.com for those who love Apple products. And then another reason is for exposure. So many celebrities, authors, and business people, they blog to increase their online exposure. So in other words, their primary goal is basically to get their names in front of wider audiences, and couldn't do that just by simply making a website. So what they do is they make blogs because there's already that interactivity. These blogs can often include updates about the person's career or business, or even some promotional content in between. And last but not the least is another reason is for business. So there are many business related blogs out there online. So whether the blogger is trying to share his knowledge of business, or he just wants to boost sales of his own business, or indirectly promote another business. So that's another great way for a blog to be used for someone to reach his goals. Now, let's look at some rules and ethics when it comes to building or maintaining blogs. So, just a look at some do's and don'ts, but I want to focus more on the don'ts. So, first rule is basically don't plagiarize. I think that's applicable in almost everything in life. You should get permission. So, of course, we all know that plagiarism is wrong and it's even punishable by law. So, you don't just copy content from other sources and you simply republish it on your blog without asking permission. So, when you find something that you really need and you really want to include in your blog, if you find that it's or an original content, then you need to ask for permission. Or if not, you can just write your original content about that subject and then you can just quote it. Now, if you believe on your end naman, if someone has copied content from your own blog, you can just test your suspicions by using a site like this one is an example, Copy Space. So you just type there in the website of Copy Space the link of the article or the website that you want to check. If you own it, maybe then this website will look for plagiarisms. Another don't is committing libel against someone or something. So of course, one reason why people blog is really to share their thoughts, but of course there's a limit to what kind of thoughts you can share online. So when you publish libelous statements about another person or entity, it's basically illegal. So when you say libel, it's written words that are intended to destroy or negatively impact someone's reputation, or not even someone, even an entity or a corporation. So that's not only illegal, you can be jailed, or you can even lose your jobs. That's another repercussion that you can experience because you posted negative content about, let's say, your employer. So be careful what you write about on your blog. So because you never know who is reading. Now, another don't is spamming. Don't spam by putting comments. irrelevant comments basically, or comments that have links, that have so many links basically. Because when you do that, you can either be blacklisted because bloggers will think that you are a spammer. So how do you reduce spam on your own blog? For instance, what you can do is you can create a comment policy, and we'll take a look at that later as well. Now, another don't is, aside from don't make spam comments, but also don't create spammy posts even. So if your entries are mostly about promotions of stuff or products, and there's no useful information at all, then readers will just think that your website is spam. And even search engines can identify it as spam. So you need to really limit, or uh, really schedule it properly if you have some promotional posts on your blog. But if your blog is known to really be a certain type of blog, then you should focus on that kind of content. And if you are making promotional posts, you should be transparent that it's basically a promotion or an advertisement. And another don't, this one I just learned after reading, don't steal bandwidth. So when you say bandwidth, it's basically a measure of the consumption of digital data. So whenever you publish something on your blog, for example, a picture, so that picture is using bandwidth from your own blog. So from the blog hosting platform that you are using. For example, WordPress. If you're using WordPress or if you're using Tumblr, it will be using bandwidth from that platform you're using. So what happens when you steal bandwidth? That happens when you use another image from another website or another blog, and then you use the URL of that image, and then you paste the image on your blog entry using that link from another blog. So you're benefiting from the use of bandwidth by that other blogger. So that's according to what I've read, it's unethical because because use of bandwidth is paid. So you're basically stealing by making these other bloggers pay for you using the bandwidth that they're using. Another rule when it comes to blogging is providing attribution. So not only is this ethical, but it's also beneficial to you as a blogger, because when you put links or when you attribute certain information on your post from another blog or from another website, that other blogger is notified by your post. So usually kasi when you use another link, it appears to them, to their analytics. So basically nakikita nila that your blog is driving traffic for their blog, and so they will also do the same for you. It's basically a mutual beneficial relationship. So if you copy a specific quote from another source, you should be identifying the quote as such and attribute the original source so that you won't be accused of plagiarism. So the same holds true for using pictures or videos that you find from other sources. You need to obtain permission first before you use them, not unless they are giving license to the online world for their content to be republished or redistributed, even without permission. So for example, yung mga may Creative Commons na license, you can use that even without asking for permission kasi may rules under the Creative Commons license that allows someone else to copy it and republish it and even modify it. Now, this is another thing that can help you make your blog look more professional and more trustworthy to readers. It's by disclosing basically policies. So when you create your policies, it's a good way to set expectations for your readers, and it also protects yourself from possible legal entanglements or lawsuits. So first thing you can do is create a comment policy. So a comment policy basically describes what comments are inappropriate for you and how you are going to moderate comments on your blog site. Another is a privacy policy. So it describes what information is collected about visitors and how that information is basically used. So especially for those netizens who are very particular about how their information is used whenever they visit some websites. Kaya nga 'di ba yung iba meron pang mga agree to the use of cookies, mga ganun. And then you also have terms and conditions of site use page. So this basically describes the legal information about your blog, such as copyrights, availabilities, and warnings. So this is particularly useful, especially for you MMA kids, because of course you create original content. So when you put this kind of page on your blog site, you're giving you're basically giving proof. So this is basically a proof. So pag halimbawa meron kang dinemanda na someone na kinopya yung content sa blog mo without permission, you can say na ito, this is one grounds for his violation of your blog rules. You have these terms and conditions, and they violated it. Now, I've mentioned some types of blogs earlier, but I want to focus on just a few that can be very helpful if you're someone who starts to blog. Because especially now na ang dami-dami ng blogs na mention ko nga kanina, 'di ba? 500 million plus already. So, paano ka ba makikipagkompetensya sa kanila? So, one way of doing this is creating a niche blog. So, when you say you have a niche blog, again, it focuses on just a very specific topic. So they can be very popular because they provide specific information for a highly targeted audience. So for example, ang gusto mong topic ay health. So that's very general. So what you need to do is to really make it very specific. Make your blog more specific, not just health. Halimbawa, sabihin natin mental health. Parang ganun. Or mas specific palalo, mental health of students, college students, for instance, or Filipino college students. So, by narrowing it down, you are able to target a more specific audience that is not usually covered by those other blogs that are more general in scope. So, by doing that, it fills a void that those larger blogs are missing, but they are looked for by audiences. So, you need to find out ano ba yung mga topics pa na hindi usually kino-cover ng ibang blogs. Pero sa tingin mo, or based sa research mo, ay hinahanap pa rin at pinag-uusapan ng mga tao. When you're a niche blogger, you basically understand your audience because you have common interests. So you know that your readers come to your blogs because of your specific content. So you need not disappoint. So if you do so, you continually meet their expectations. And another thing or style or technique that niche bloggers do is they keep track of other bloggers who write about the subject matter that they are also publishing. So they fill the gaps. So kung halimbawa, meron pang isa pang niche blogger na kagaya mo na pareho kayong nagko-cover ng mental health of Filipino college students. So basically, siya yung competition mo. So when you look at him and he doesn't normally post about, let's say, mga Mindanaoan college students. So yun yung i-fill mong gap. You write about entries ng mga Mindanaoan college students kasi normally sila yung may issues din sa mental health kasi they experience clan wars or conflicts or kidnappings kasi nga may violence because of insurgencies, etc. Now let's take a look at some benefits and disadvantages of having a niche blog. So of course you can have a loyal set of readers because they can't find any other blogs that have the same content as yours. Most likely, you can have less competitions because you're offering a niche topic that not everyone else has. And you can do a long tail search engine optimization, meaning you can put specific targeted keywords on your posts that will attract more audiences, and you can gain recognition and exposure because you are a sole source, or maybe one of the few sources of information for that kind of topic. So you even become an expert on that. And lastly, you can be have targeted advertising opportunities. So for example, if you're blogging about pets, but your niche topic is about a certain type of cat, like a British short hair, for instance, uh, all those pet products that target British short hair cats will put advertisements on you. Now, there's also drawbacks to doing niche blogs. Of course, you can possibly have lower traffic because if your niche topic only touches a small segment of the population, then you will have a smaller audience. Another drawback is experiencing the startup curse. So, for example, you started that niche topic and no one else is doing it, and then you become popular, and then someone else starts doing the topic you're doing, so you're no longer the solo niche blog about that kind of topic, so you start to have competition, and uh, you become less and less popular. Another danger is the disappearing niche, because for instance, what can be the hot niche topic today cannot always be the niche topic that's popular tomorrow. So for that, one specific example that can really be dangerous are television shows. If you write a specific niche blog about a certain TV show, when that show ends, then your blog is no longer active. It will no longer be relevant to the readers if they forget about it already. And last but not the least, fewer advertising opportunities, because you only have a specific topic that you're touching on. Not all kinds of products will be interested in advertising. Now, another type of blog that can be useful, especially when you graduate and when you work for businesses or corporations, this is one useful thing to understand, is to do or create corporate or business blogs. So, successful business blogs are basically written for consumers, not companies. That's one tip. Uh, because it offers a perfect way for companies to do more than just talk at consumers. When you blog, you talk with consumers and build that relationship that not other websites have. So you see the difference there when you just talk at instead of talking with. When you do that, you have interactivity basically. Now here are some reasons why companies do blogs. So of course, they want to build brand awareness, or they want to network with other similar businesses, or they want to network with experts, or they want to build relationships with existing and potential customers. They want to boost sales. They want to communicate marketing messages and promotions that they do for the products and services they have. Uh, and they want to understand their customers better, and to manage their reputation. For instance, if there are some rumors, there are some conversations that are negative against the company, they can use the blogs to clean their reputation. And it gives the companies an image that make them real and more human in the eyes of the consumers, instead of just being that very high corporation up there that you can't reach. Now, what are the benefits of doing a business blog? It helps businesses to build an online presence. It it allows them to have a marketing and publicity tool. It helps them build their brand further, uh, and it's more of a customer relations instead of customer service. That's the danger of some business blogs as well. Uh, because you don't do blogs, corporate or business blogs, to answer to complaints, because those are very specific ones that can be responded to by their hotline, etc. but the purpose of the blog is really relationship with the customers by attracting them to your products and services, etc. Now, employee retention is another benefit because when employees see the benefits of being part of your company or your business, they will be more attracted to stay. Uh, Especially if you include some posts about perks that you offer to employees or uh, other activities that are beneficial to them, etc. And another benefit is for future employees as well. So it helps employees refer their company, your company, to other people, other friends that they have, so that they will hire, that they will apply to you. Another is for you, your business or your company to be able to show your knowledge, expertise, and experience in the industry that you're into. And also, it makes your brand more searchable online. We've tackled niche blogs, we've tackled business blogs. Basically, what we want to do now is go beyond words when you're doing blogs. And that's where the power of podcasts and vlogs come in. So, when you say podcast, it's basically an audio file that's recorded digitally that is being played back online. So you can use podcasts to create audio blog posts. So when you say podcast, it's technically also known as audio blogs. And you also have what you call vlogging. It's a fusion of the words video and blog. So it's the process of publishing videos rather than just written blog posts. So vlogging is also known as video blogging. Technically, actually, ang blogging is also podcasting eh. Dati ang terms were audio podcasts and video podcasts. But nowadays, it's now differentiated as podcast for audio and vlogging for video. What are the advantages of doing podcasts and vlogs? Of course, uh, not all people want to read, and uh, most people nowadays are just focused on some other platforms like YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iTunes, etc. So, how do you reach those audiences and attract them to go into your blogs? So, that's where the power of doing podcasts and vlogs come in. So, when you do your podcasts, you do your vlogs, you don't just post them on your blog sites, but also publish them on those platforms like YouTube, like Spotify, so you get to reach more audiences that don't normally get into the websites or the blogs. So when they watch your vlogs or when they listen to your podcasts, and then the way you produce those vlogs and podcasts are somehow promotional of your blogs, then possibly your listeners or watchers can go to your blogs after listening to your entries. Let's go to a crucial element into making your blog successful, and that is through developing your marketing plan. So, one important aspect to start with is really researching your competition. You need to find out who else is out there that has similar topics as your blog. So you need to benchmark. So you need to visit those competitors' websites, or what you can do is type uh, a keyword on Google search about the topics you will normally cover in, and you will see a list of websites or blogs that have entries on those kinds of keywords as well. So you can use them as your uh, research for other competitors. And then you can also, when you check those other blogs, you can also check the links of their posts, because sometimes their posts will have links to other blogs of the same topic. So, mas mapapalawak pa yung research mo dun. And even they also have some blog roll links of their affiliate blogs or network of blogs or blogs of similar interests. uh, because it helps them promote other friends of them in the same network. And when they do that, you can do that as well, and you can connect with those other bloggers with same interests, and you benefit each other. Now, what will make your blog successful after you find out who your competition is after studying them, you're now able to differentiate your blog from your competition. So let's say you have the same topic, it's about pets, but you're able to differentiate your blog because you may just try to focus on more interesting visuals, or you're able to focus on certain topics that they don't normally cover. So that's one way of doing it. Now, another part of developing your marketing plan is to understand your audience basically. So when you understand your audience, you are now able to identify what they want, what they need, and you can deliver that content. So you need to find first where your audience usually spends time online. So if your audience are millennials, then you know that they're most likely spending more time on maybe YouTube or those other platforms, TikTok, etc. So you can use those other platforms, or you can even write blogs about those other platforms to attract them to read your entries. You need to also research what they talk about and what they want from your blog. You can do that by reading the comments on your blog, etc., or you can see the trends on Twitter, etc. You can get involved in the online conversation by, let's say, if there's a trending topic about the issues that you normally cover on your blog, you can participate online by, let's say, on Twitter. They're discussing about the pets you're talking about. You can comment, you can participate, and then you can even put out links to your blog so that they'll be more interested to look at it. And then you can also answer the by understanding your readers, you can now answer their demand with meaningful content, not just promotions, etc. So you need to also, by doing that also, you need to drive consumers to your blog by using other platforms. So how do you drive consumers to your blog? You need to do things like leave comments on blogs of the same topic. You can even link to other content from other blogs, because when they see that you connected to their entries, they will probably do the same as a mutual benefit. And you need to also include your URL in everything you do, even in your business cards, in your email signatures that you send online, even in your social media profiles, or even if you produce promotional items, you need to always put the URL of your blog so that it will have a recall on your audiences. And lastly, you need to syndicate your blog content. So you do that by, you can use syndicating tools or websites, or you can even use like newsletters to send to your followers, etc. And of course, an important thing is SEO, or search engine optimization. So you need to know what keywords are popular in search engines, and you need to include that in your keywords on your blog entries. You need to also share your content on social bookmarking and social networking sites. So, social bookmarking sites examples are Reddit, uh, social networking sites are Facebook, Twitter, etc. Now, you need to also use Twitter specifically to highlight your best content, not just share links, but specific parts of your article or your vlog, because normally that's what Twitter does. It's a microblog, so it focuses on specific micro topics. And one another technique that others do is holding contests. So sometimes popular ngayon yung iba, yung mga quiz nights, or mga palaro that gives out prizes, etc. So you can do that to engage your audience. When you finally understand your competition and your audience, the next thing you need to do is to create a blog marketing strategy. So always when you do a strategy, you need to look long term and short term. So you need to set long term goals of what you want your blog to be, after 1 year perhaps. And then you need to look at specific short-term campaigns that you can do within maybe a week or months, etc. And this one is something opposite. Kasi diba, normally when you say advertising opportunities, yung mga advertisers na lalagay ng mga ads sa blog mo. Ito naman opposite, ikaw yung gumagawa ng ads about your blog. So you do that by Facebook ads, Google AdWord ads, even traditional ads that you do in the physical world or even elsewhere. You can obtain reviews, you can ask other bloggers to write about your blog, etc. And you can join ad networks. Another thing to include in your strategy is blogging with probably multiple writers or creating a team blog para hindi lang ikaw yung nagsusulat at nagki-create ng content. If you're someone who can work with a team, then this is something you can also look at uh, because sometimes yung iba merong nangyayaring writer's block. So they can do this para kapag hindi mo kaya magsulat, yung iba yung sasalo sa'yo, etc. Or you can or another advantage of having a team blog is meron kayong set tasks that you need to do or job descriptions. Parang yung isa editor, yung isa graphic artist, yung isa video editor, etc. So that basically ends this lecture. I did not put lessons about specifics on how to create basically a blog, yung mga technicalities. That's easily researchable online, or I can even put links if you want to. But the important thing in this lesson is really for you to understand the basic rules that you need to consider when you create a blog, or even understanding why you want to blog in the first place, and the opportunities that you can look at when you create your blog, and the importance also of creating a strategy in order to make your blog a success. So I hope this lecture helped you. Let me know if you have any other questions or feedback. I hope to see you again in the next module.